Ever found yourself in a bathtub, knees bent or feet sticking out, and wondered why bathtubs are so small? It's a question as old as indoor plumbing itself, and the answer is more complex than you might imagine. Our journey begins in the late 1880s when indoor plumbing first came to the United States. Back then, the cost was a major factor in determining the size of bathtubs. Victorian-era bathtubs were heavy cast iron affairs, difficult to produce and even more challenging to move. Also, people were generally smaller, and the size of the tub reflected this. As the 20th century dawned and production building became the norm, a cookie-cutter approach to housing was adopted. Bathrooms typically measured 5 feet by 7 feet, with bathtubs, usually 5 feet in length and 32 inches in width, placed along the smaller wall. These dimensions became the standard, presupposing the size of a person and excluding those of different shapes. Fast forward to the post-World War II era, and the bathtub boom was in full swing. Major bathtub producer Crane reported that 75% of their business was in 5-foot tubs. Smaller tubs were cheaper, more appealing to landlords, easier to maintain, and required less water. Yet despite the many changes since the Victorian era, bathtubs have remained stubbornly small. Architectural historian Siegfried Giedion noted this as early as 1948 in his book, Mechanization Takes Command. Even today, our attitudes towards bathing are still tied to the Victorian era's prudishness. So why are bathtubs so small? The answers lie in a complex mix of cost, convenience, societal norms, and architectural constraints. From Victorian-era limitations to post-war mass production, the standard bathtub size has remained relatively unchanged. And unless there's a seismic shift in bathroom design or societal demand, it seems likely to stay that way. To recap, the small size of bathtubs can be traced back to the late 1880s, when indoor plumbing first came into existence. The cost and the average size of people during that era played a significant role in determining the size of bathtubs. The standardization of housing in the early 20th century further cemented these dimensions. Despite societal and architectural changes, these dimensions have remained largely the same due to economic and practical considerations. So the next time you find yourself in a bathtub, knees bent or feet sticking out, remember, it's not you, it's history.